Okay, welcome to Chapter 25, Local Government. So we're talking about counties and small governments. Counties are the way that we make up our state. It's like a state inside of a state. I believe Nebraska has about 93 counties. That's why almost every single license plate you see has a number. In Nebraska, that's just when we got cars around 1900, 1920. We counted everybody up and then figured out, hey, we'll just number the cars like that. So if you have a county that's like number 93, that means your county was incredibly small about 100 years ago. It turns out there are some counties that have grown significantly, but most counties are not far away from their ranking back when the beginning of cars happened. Okay. Sheriffs and other elected officials help us in these areas. Some counties, like Butler County, are comprised of a county seat where all the county government stuff happens, and then that is often the center of the county, but not always. You'll get to Madison County, which has Norfolk in it, and Norfolk is not the county seat, even though it's significantly larger than the city of Madison. You'll find other places like Lancaster County has a very large town in Waverly that's almost 6,000 people now. However, Lincoln overshadows its small neighbors. So in a lot of ways, I've even heard kids in Lancaster County think they live in Lincoln County because that's just what people think. No, it's Lancaster, but sometimes you just think of it as that gigantic town that takes up most of the county. Okay. In Lincoln, actually, the Lincoln City building in the Lincoln County, in the Lancaster County, see, even I did it. The Lancaster County building are the exact same building. They'll have separate offices, of course, for different things, but they put all of their government in the same area because why not? Honestly, what would be the point of making an entirely separate Lancaster County building when probably 85–90% plus, probably more than 90% plus of people live in Lincoln, in Lancaster County. Okay, your county governments, counties are usually run by boards. Many counties have multiple towns with mayors who take care of their town situations if it's really bad, and the governor might take care of stuff if it's a little bit bigger than the county. So you actually don't find many places where there's a leader of the county per se. County governments are very democratic. Almost everything's up for election all the time. Now most of the time it's 99% of people voted for this person. But you never know. You can do a lot of stuff in a small town. You can even vote for your sheriffs. If you remember that David City only has sheriff's deputies, we do not have a normal police department. Those two got merged a couple years back. So, yeah, if you don't particularly like whoever's running the David City, Butler County Police Sheriff's Department, you have every right to vote for somebody new, and you'll get somebody new. It's completely different than if you live in Lincoln. They hire a police chief. You better hope you like your mayor enough and hope they don't do crazy things. But in Butler County, you choose the person that's going to be the sheriff. Okay. Special districts. State and county governments can create special districts. So we can have water, electricity, postal service, police district, bus districts, school districts. There's so many more of them that we could get into, but some of them are very special to certain areas, like marine districts, so if you live by the ocean or something. But for my example, I took, and I know because I have a friend who used to be Lincoln Police, but now he's Lancaster County Sheriff. They have 5 districts in Lincoln, and they have Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, and then the Center District, which is going to be like your City and East Campus and some of these, and let's be honest, somewhat sketchier parts of Lincoln. You'll get different areas have different needs, but yeah, that will help everybody to think like, okay, if you get you're a suspect in Center District, the cop coming to your location is going to be in Center District. Also, if they're in that district, they'll get used to the district and they'll know like all the streets and everything like that. That's still something that I think they require of many officers, that they have a very good idea of where streets are, because they can't just be using Google Maps whenever they feel like it. Okay, some parts of a county are sectioned off for industrial areas only. Residential areas can also be created so no businesses can join. If there's an empty lot in your neighborhood, you probably don't want a 24/7 like McDonald's or something in the middle of your neighborhood, which, okay, maybe you want some McDonald's every once in a while, but you don't want all this crazy traffic in an area where you're trying to raise your kids. Okay? Different types of mayor systems. There's a strong mayor model where the mayor chooses department heads, so they get a lot of say. The city council just votes on certain things, where they're kind of equal, but the mayor gets to choose a lot of the day-to-day stuff, who leads it. But a weak mayor system is where you elect a council. They choose the department heads, but they can also choose the mayor. And in some places, the mayor is just a person who's on the council. So many small towns in Nebraska, especially if they're under a couple hundred people, and nobody wants to be mayor, it doesn't pay anything to be mayor, but you technically have to have a mayor because it just makes sense. There are places where you just get on the city council and it's Dave's turn on Tuesday, or, okay, it's not usually one by one day, but like you get a week where like if any crazy stuff happens, go talk to Frank or go talk to Patty or whoever is in charge that week. But yeah, you'll find some small towns are very interesting in that way. Your parent or you one day in towns like that could be mayor fairly easily because everybody gets to be mayor and the council. Now, David City, I am very certain, though I probably should double check this some point, we have a strong mayor system. You directly elect your mayor, and then I am not sure about the department heads. Actually, no. Probably wouldn't be. David City would be a strong mayoral system, except the department heads would also be chosen by the people too, because you would have people that run everything. So I'm sure David City is actually a pretty well run if it's in that format. And then zoning. Zoning is the control of properties, how they're ordered and classified. The city can make differences between business areas, recreation, residential areas. It could be very strange to see a house built in the middle of an industrial park. You'll see things called industrial parks, and you might be confused as a child. Well, that's not a park. Well, it just means that there's this steel mill, this oil refinery, that lumber mill. It's a whole bunch of businesses right by each other. You can't build a house there because it's not meant for housing. Okay? Spending. Your government spends money on education. Did I not? There should be a picture somewhere. Local government spends money on education, welfare programs, public safety, roads, waste, garbage. All those great things. Usually it comes from property taxes, but bigger towns can use sales tax. Okay. This is zoning. So this was actually from 2 slides ago. This is the city of Lakewood, I believe in Florida. So you will see, and this is really cool, or at least to me. So you see like dark green is an open space and recreation area. It's a big park right around the lake. And then you see another big park over here. You'll see areas like industrial business park is like great. Nobody's doing anything there except doing like heavy industry, stuff like that. Red is central business district. So your downtown, I can easily know where my downtown is because the central business district is all in red. Looks like you got a major road that cuts through downtown, then another major road that seems to be like interstate, stuff like that. But then you have 2 major areas. Pink is neighborhood commercial. So this is where you're getting like some businesses, but some like apartment buildings and other awesome stuff. Okay, so the light red is transit-oriented commercial. So this is mostly like transportation. All this yellow that you can see is all residential. This is where just normal housing is and everything. You got some people that live right by the lakes. That must be nice. And they have residential 1, residential 2. So you could have bigger properties. It really sometimes, just depending on the town, it's just residential is, oh, there's big properties, big houses. Oh, there's medium-sized houses. And there's some places where they say apartment style only, which might be like that light pink that you're seeing right there.